Well, guys, you know, Father's Day is around the corner. It's coming up this weekend. So I want to say good morning to all the fathers on the outside, all the people who appreciate their fathers and love their fathers and show it all the time and not afraid to. And I want to say good morning to all the men on the outside there who are fathers in their own rights and do the job accordingly. And I want to say a special good morning to the president of the Trinidad and Tobago Fathers Association, Rondell Fields. Good morning, sir.
Morning, bro. Thanks for having me.
Is it now the Fathers Association, no longer the Single Fathers Association?
Yeah, it's now been changed to the Fathers Association of Trinidad and Tobago from the beginning of the year. See, we've always represented fatherhood in its entirety. And definitely we wanted the name to reflect that as well. Also, the goal for us is always being a good father, whether it's a single father, whether it's a married father. It's about fatherhood, empowerment, and encouragement in good fatherhood.
Rondell, tell me, what does it mean to be a good father?
Boy, people don't understand, boy. What it means to be a father on the whole. Just to know that you have younger ones looking up to you. That is the ultimate male transition. That is the transition of a man. It makes you a better person generally, knowing that you have young dependents depending on you. Knowing that you have young boys and girls that see you as, boy, you're a superhero to that young boy. You're the first love to your daughter. It's mind-blowing. It's amazing, particularly for many of the boys of the last generation who didn't have fathers. So that relationship, sometimes I vicariously wonder, oh, my sons and them just look at me, boy. What them feel about me, boy? To see that my voice, to see that my words are so important to them. You know that, you may not know, but many of us today could say that our fathers and even some of our mothers to some extent, back in the day, they didn't even used to say they love you. They love you, because they see what they're doing for you, but it wasn't as expressive. So, boy, fatherhood has really been an impacting thing to my personal life.
Yeah, but you see, that's very important what you're talking about there in terms of being the role model for them, and you are the person raising them, right? But you see that there's a disconnect from the people who didn't get it in the generation before. What about those men? How do we now change the mindset of those men to understand how do you project that love and show that love in the ways that would be, I don't know, healthy? I don't know if it's healthy or unhealthy. I don't know if that's as extreme as you want to get with it.
Of course, I mean, and it's only by showing them love. And I use myself as an example, right? I mean, I said what I said to you. I take care of my dad right now. My dad is going to be 88 years of age, you understand? And I know my father has loved me, but you would say, I love you. And you would say, okay, boy, yeah, boy. And you know that it's not how they were cultured, possibly, and you don't know what they went through as boys. And at first, they thought it was offensive and they didn't really love me. But we don't know what they went through as children. We don't know how they were cultured. So it's opened up to me, a forgiving part of me first, and then now a desirous part to make him feel loved. So that is all you could do, you know. I mean, you continue to tell your fathers, your grandfathers, you love them, and eventually they may reciprocate because we know they love us, you know. But in those days, I think they were raised to be stronger, and in their mind, what strength was then, and less emotional.
So then, Rondell, tell me what it is that made you able to decide or to be aware of the fact that that love is necessary and expressing that love is necessary, because you're saying that your dad didn't do it for you, right? But you know he loved you. There's no question about that. And I know plenty of people who would feel the same way. You know, I know my father loved me. He don't tell me, but I know because he does take care of me. He does make sure I get. He does make sure everything right? But we don't express it. What in you made you decide or aware of the fact that you need to express this?
And that's the thing, that's a ticklish part, because experience could be a good trainer, it could be a detractor as well. So it's about how you, even as a child, appreciated and didn't appreciate the things that you received. So as a child, I could say, you know, I missed that boy. I really wish daddy used to say that. I know daddy loved me. So in my mind, I used it towards a positive to say, hey, what's going on? I would make sure and verbalize and make sure and tell my children when I have children that I love them. Sometimes it goes the other way, because some people might say, nobody don't say I love you, and they may depress them and they may now continue that trend going forward. So it's important for us, it's important for young mentors as well. It's important for people who mentor young ones, as well, to say you love them too. So sometimes they hear another person telling them they love them. So they understand that it is normal to say I love it is normal to feel loved. So that when you become older as well, you may encourage, but that child might now start passing it down to his generation, or you may encourage or mentor a young man or young girl that, hey, this is how it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Because I think but it's very important for us to realize that it is to pass it on to the next generation and continuously keep passing it on to the next generation. What is the role that single father, well, the Fathers Association, what is the role that you guys are going to play in that self-awareness and making sure that men understand their role and do it properly?
Correct. I mean, we play a number of roles in society, but first of all, our major role was, trying to reculture society into the way they look at fatherhood. They see its value, they give it a level of acceptance and appreciation. That we just not the ones who make the children and go out there and make money and come and feed the children. Because that's what that's been inculcated in our history for years. That's all man does do, that's all fathers does do. So reculture is a big part of it. Then we're talking about reform. There were so many things, so many fathers who were single fathers, some of them who lost their wives to death and other things. And they were unable to make to access public services like public assistance for the children just because they were male. We were able to bring reform, systemic reform when it comes to lobbying, some of those things. Also, legal reform. Some of the new introductions of innovation, the court pay system right now. That's what we lobbied for. So men and women won't have to go and line up in lines to receive and pay maintenance. So we've done a lot of work in the last 10 years. We've seen a lot of successes. People are enjoying these successes and just don't know the blood and sweat and tears of the Fathers Association and its representatives.
No, well, it's good that, it's about time that we have somebody standing up and defending on behalf of, because I think that you're right. Oftentimes we see the negative impact of what happens when relationships go bad, and fathers or men tend to be considered the slacker one in the situation, or whatever the case may be. And we focus on that, and society has been cultured to think that men, all man bad, as they like to say. How do we now turn around and celebrate the good men? How do we encourage more men to be good?
And that is it. You see, is the way that we put things out, even in the public space. We've been cultured about a good man, a bad man. What do I need to do to become a good man? And some people believe the only way I become a good man is if I'm not like my father, because my father, he was a bad man. Right. What is a good man? What is a bad man? These are the things we need to investigate. We need to really to study or to think on. Good men will make bad choices sometimes. Good men will make bad decisions sometimes. So how do we don't want to think that, all right, you're a bad man, so we'll be bad all the time because we've made a bad decision. We must always have that restorative mentality that, hey, I made a mistake, I'm going to get up and fix it. I didn't see my son for 13 years. It's never too late. Let me go and be involved. I didn't see my daughter for 15 years. And let me go and be involved. It's not too late. I messed up when I was younger. I'm more mature now. And then we must have that level of acceptance from society, willing to be forgiven to the person that we deemed that was the worst man. Because if he's willing to change now and you're not willing to forgive, then we've wasted our time. So I think it's particularly in a time like this, bro, where we're seeing mothers and fathers and children dying and losing their life in this pandemic. Now is not that time for us to have petty confusions about this is my day and this is your day and this is your week and this is that. We see what's going on around us. This time more than any should cause parents who are separated to forge the strongest parental partnerships now for the benefit of their children. And during this time, we've seen a lot of people using this time as an excuse for them to separate the other party from the child, saying, all right, COVID is this, COVID there. And we understand the danger of COVID, but we have video chat like this. We have all these tools that can be utilized to maintain parental relationships with children and their fathers, children with their mothers. It's very important at this time that we truly make an effort to really forge strong parental partnerships.
I firmly agree with you, because I think it's really important for the children to have that example of, even if things don't work out, we can still make this work and we can still be great parents for you. I think that's a very important lesson. I want to thank you for all the work that you've been doing. I want to thank you for joining us this morning and for sharing your opinion on this, and for the work that you guys continue to do at the Fathers Association of Trinidad and Tobago. I think that it is phenomenal work and it should be celebrated. And happy Father's Day in advance to you. Yeah. And I'm going to give you a chance to wish the nation happy Father's Day too.
I mean, definitely, I want to wish happy fathers out there to every father out in Trinidad and Tobago and by extension the world. I mean, I encourage you, as I said, with me, it's not a good father, no bad father. You may have made mistakes, it's never too late. You have a responsibility and a duty of care to that child. Even if your child is now an adult and you weren't there, I encourage you this Father's Day, reach out. I encourage even the adult child to reach out to their fathers, make a union during this point in time.
And one of the things I want to mention with that is patience. Patience is key because I think patience and forgiveness could go together hand in hand if it is that we understand and be patient with the fact that it takes some people longer to get to the point where they need to be or the point where you may want them to be. And we have to all be patient about that process because it's a process.
Correct. One quick thing before we leave.
Go ahead.
I'd just like to send out an invitation for an event we're going to have. It's a very important discussion. It's called Fatherhood in Society Issues and Solutions. It's going to be held via the Zoom platform. We're going to have a lot of representatives from State There, Children Authority, Child Protection Unit, Gender-Based Violence. It's going to be a very well-attended discussion, a national discussion. The numbers to call to request the Zoom link are 354-6991, 481-5762, and 498-8791. It's free of charge. We encourage people to come out there and have these type of discussions we had there this morning, bro. Yeah, that is the level of discussion we need to have in society. You're going to find that there this Wednesday at 4 p.m. Call us now to get the Zoom link.
Do you have a link on Facebook or anything like that as well?
Also, on the Single Fathers Association page, if you go there, you're going to see a link there as well. It's also going to be broadcasted live on the Trend Globe Media Facebook page as well. So, I mean, you could go there and like that page from now. 4 p.m. Wednesday, it's going to be broadcasted there.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Rondell Fields, and keep up the great work that you're doing.
Same to you, bro.
Rondell Fields, President of the Fathers Association of Trinidad and Tobago. We'll take a quick break and come back with more inside the Now Morning Show. Stay tuned.